These are stories of outdoor adventure and expert advice from folks with calloused hands. I'm James Nash, and this is the Six Ranch Podcast. I got my first trail camera when I was 10 years old. It took 8 D-cell batteries and had a roll of film, and I set it up on a dead cow to see what would come in on it. I was so excited to take that roll of film to town, get them developed, and when I got my photos back, it was mostly just blurry photos of ravens and magpies, but in one of them, in the dark, I could see all these eyes circling this cow off in the distance, just glowing in this big bright flash of this giant awkward camera. But I was so excited by that I just knew that I'd be running game cameras forever, and they've changed so much since then. The best of the cameras now are made by Tacticam. So these reveal cell cameras will work in places that have basically no cell service at all. So I can get cell service on the camera when I can't get it on my phone. They have live view. They've got active GPS. So if a bear packs my camera off, I can find it again. Or if I forget about it, definitely have done that. I can change all of the features through the app on my phone. The photos and videos just get sent to me. And ultimately, this makes me a better hunting guide because I can monitor a really wide area without going in there and disturbing the wildlife in that area, right? I'm just getting the intel back and making decisions based off of what I'm seeing on those cameras. If you want to learn more about Reveal, go to www.tacticam.com and check out their newest camera. That's the Ultra. That's the one that I'm using right now. And it's, simply put, the easiest and best trail camera that I've ever used. So go check it out. It is very sweet.
Is that Grandma Janie?
That's Grandma Janie. Yep. Who are you fellas?
You can go first.
Oh, I'm going first. All right. I'm Andy Munson, one of the guys behind Gambler 500 with Tate Morgan here.
I'm Tate Morgan. And yeah, Gambler 500 and Sons of Smokey.
And what y'all been up to so far this morning?
Killing elk.
Yeah. They practically kill themselves out here.
It's just went up to the meat locker up above your house and
nice and
harvested a cow.
You make a good shot?
Yeah. It was there's Remington Ultra Mag. I'm one of the only people who still fires that round. But I got a Silencer Co. Omega on it.
Nice.
And so a little trigger job and we put in about a 3-mile hike in this morning. We pulled into town like 2 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
Caught a cat nap and then hiked up, and this is our usual spot though, and we've been heading up to that spot,
yeah,
for a while. And then Andy spotted a couple herds up out on the horizon, and they're smart. They're sitting up on the ridge, and so we didn't know if we'd be able to put a sneak on them, and we did. We got up, we closed it to about 430 yards, and clean shot, nicked her heart. So
good shot.
Yeah, felt good.
Dude, 430 is a long ways out there in the wild.
Yeah.
There was no way we were getting any closer.
Yeah.
I would have preferred. I said I wanted a minimum, a maximum of 300-yard shot, but we were so exposed, and there was about 30 of them up there, so there was 60 eyeballs looking for us.
Yeah, good job. Got it done, and a good clean shot like that. I talk about this. I'm not going to stop talking about it. It makes for higher quality meat. It just does.
I agree. Even just from a personal basis, like something about an animal that's suffered tastes like sadness. And I'm sure it's also can be proven scientifically.
Well, in these big kill facilities, if they see an animal that's been really stressed out, that changes the color of their meat, they call them dark cutters, and they will reject that meat.
Interesting.
Whoa.
But you can straight up see it on the chain, like, oh no, that animal was stressed out before it got killed.
Oh.
Interesting.
Wow.
Tends to have a little bit of a metallic taste to it, and a lot of people claim it gives them nightmares if they eat it.
Wow. Yeah, or
which is pretty wild.
Gut shoot something and get
same deal.
The insides all over what you're supposed to eat.
Plus, that animal's not dying quickly, so it's flooding its body full of everything that it can just to try to stay alive a little bit longer. So good shots make for good meat.
Yeah.
One of the many reasons to get it right.
Well, and we attribute that we were talking about on the way out. We've shot, 10/22s, and I mean, just back in high school, we just shoot bricks of them, just and so much trigger time shooting over the years. And I shot competitively, did some 3-gun, and it's when you see somebody that hasn't hunted and they have that hesitation, and it's like, it's just like,
Yeah.
I think all that rat shooting and bunny shooting we did too is just like, just that muscle memory.
It makes a world of difference, and every shot is not something that you plan for, right? It's all impromptu. It's all improv. So I think that type of shooting where it's high volume, where it's unknown distance, it's small targets, you need to be quick about it, is some of the best practice that you could ever get. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because I mean, most of the animals, it's not perfect, and we try to make ethical, good shots out there. But every situation is different, and to be able to make that snap decision when the animal turns, or they're gonna about to bust you, to be able to pull that shot off and not have to have 10 seconds of prep time and do your breathing and all that sort of jazz is it's made the difference. I wouldn't have killed half the animals I have if I hadn't made a quick decision.
Mm-hmm. One of these beautiful books I have over here is titled Sniping in France, and it was written by an officer at the end of World War I about everything that you needed to know to build a trench sniper and the skills that they needed to have. And one of the things that he wrote about was that your spotter needs to be literate. They need some education. Your sniper does not. And try to find them from rural backgrounds. Poachers are preferred.
Oh my God.
But going down the list of how you would find a World War I sniper who was going to be effective on the trigger, and he wanted British rednecks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's also like when the U.S. military recruits fighter pilots. It's some of the answers to their questions they're looking for are counterintuitive. It's like, do you start fights? Are you aggressive? And I think they need people like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That was Justin Gombos, our buddy, who was a pilot in the Navy, and he said that was one of the questions.
Oh gosh,
so, man, I don't know, this was 20 some odd years ago. He joined right after, it must have been 2002.
Well, it's too bad that he couldn't get into ground forces and do something interesting, but I guess we do need some people to fly, so good for him.
He's good for a ride. He was a Seahawk pilot. So
gotcha. Cool.
He did forward air control for a little bit afterwards too.
Nice.
So he was on the ground for a bit.
Yeah, you need people who can speak pilot to talk to pilots. Yeah. How did it start? How did it all begin?
Gambler?
Yeah.
Okay, and then because I really love your platform is perfect to talk about Sons of Smokey and all the public land cleanup and stewardship part, but we can talk about the fun stuff first. We were sitting around just having a beer, buddy and I, and he proposed that we go get $500 cars and drive around the city of Portland. And the person whose car was still running the last one, I was like, that sounds like that could take forever. It sounds kind of boring. Why don't we take $500 cars and race them through the desert? And this was right after the Great Recession, so we didn't have a lot of money, and so but finally got a job and a young family and stuff, and so we did it, and it was super fun. 3 years. It was just we grew from 13 cars the first year to probably like 24, 25 the third year, which I felt like was a lot. I was like, this is enough. It's starting to feel a little overwhelming, and it wasn't open to the public. It was just for friends. We weren't trying to make it anything other than
first rule of Gambler 500, right?
Yeah, it was like it was definitely Fight Club.
Yeah,
and it was the best weekend of the year. And then we had a buddy who worked for a marketing company for Chubby Shorts, who took our cell phone footage and slapped together a video that went absolutely crazy on the internet. Like 50 million views on all platforms. We had people knocking down our door to come, we want to race $500 cars and stuff. And I was like, I shut everything down. I shut down our Facebook. I shut down everything. I was like, we don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah, he changed the name to the G500 Navigators Society.
Oh, yeah. We went kind of underground. But then a bunch of people were farming and using our name, stealing our name and trying to farm Facebook pages because the internet was just trying to track us down. And so I was like, all right, let's try it. And so my wife is a attorney, and so she helped me trademark and copyright the brand. And then we said, yeah, just show up. And so I rented the Portland Meadows racetrack in Portland. It's a horse track, and then and Hoodoo up on the Cascade Range. And I was like, this would house 300 to 400 people or something. That's what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. And I still didn't have a registration. It was just show up and I'll hand you a set of waypoints. And instead of 300 people, 3,000 people showed up. And so it was a little overwhelming to have. Yeah, we had like 1,200, 1,300 cars, that fourth year. And my eyes were as wide as pie plates. And but we pulled it off. And I changed the metric from a race to how much trash you could pick up. Because I knew we couldn't race. I didn't want to track that many people. Someone would die. And I was like, well, this is kind of a fun way to make sure because the Forest Service had already threatened me with a felony for doing what we were doing before.
And I want to talk about that. I want to get into that a little bit.
You a cop or?
Yeah. No, the opposite of that.
Yeah, because I got a nice picture outside the Forest Service LEO, who I'm actually now really good friends with. Showed up at my door. I wasn't there. I was at my buddy's birthday party. We're down at the bar down the street. And so my wife was like, listen to his spiel about how much trouble I was in. And she said, and she called me and I said, well, you can come down here if he wants. And so he came down there and he gave me a ticket for an illegal event, but he also said that he could hit me for a felony. Cause there's no federal misdemeanors. Apparently I didn't know that. So he hit me with a ticket and then that's when we made it about the, trash cleanup. And
I got to hit pause on this for just a second. So your wife, who knows you, and is an attorney, knew that you were at a buddy's birthday party, tipping him back at a bar, and she's like, "Yeah, go talk to him."
Well, he didn't know she was an attorney, and so he was just ripping into her like, he's in so much trouble, and she's like, "That's a lie." She didn't say that, but
right?
She's just like, "Whatever, dude." Like, go talk to him down there. And he gave me a ticket for too many people on federal land, and I knew we were under the limit, which is 75 people. We had 65 people there. So
okay.
I think I can prove that you did. I didn't want to go to court. There were some other things that were going on that I didn't want to talk about in front of a judge. Someone had left a car out in the woods.
Okay.
And that was really what he was there for, was trying to figure out whose car this was. And unfortunately, the way that everything had already gone down, I wasn't able to give him that information, or I would it would just be a bad spot. So, but I wasn't okay with that. And so I said, this is never going to happen again. Personally, I didn't have to tell him that, but I was like, and so we're going to change this whole thing. Is just about removing trash. And so that sends a message that the people who are out there participating aren't going to leave their cars. Mm-hmm. And then, and so that's just a net zero, but then also we're going to leave it better than we found it. So if anything does happen, I am a big fan of public lands and they do belong to everyone. So if there's more use going on because of this event that the participants are benefiting from, everyone else who owns that land needs to benefit, can't have damages. And so that's when we went after the trash. And that just grew and snowballed year after year after year. And we were starting to lose the people who were there to party and just like, burn shit. And we were getting the people who were like, dude, I'm into cars, I'm into adventure. And, like just this kind of cool, open, accepting group of people, and picking up trash. And so we've really stayed about the same amount of people show up every year. It's still 3,000 to 4,000 people. But we've distilled it down in this neat group of kind of creative, cool, fun havers. People are howling at the moon till 3 a.m., at this thing. And we try to keep everything as safe as possible. But luckily, 14 years later, not a lawsuit, not an insurance claim. We are squeaky clean. Like, I don't.
Yeah. What's the statute of limitations?
Yeah. Nice.
I know. So,
Andy, what's your side of this?
I was, back in the day, it was like, hey, what do you think about this? Taking cars out east, $500. And I was kind of like, God, it seems like a terrible waste of money. And he's like, well, come with me. I'll go buy a car. And we went out to a local college and he bought a car. What was that?
Nissan NX.
Yeah. With T-tops. And he got it for like $325.
Money to spare. Oh,
and like, it had snow tires with it. It was just a great deal. So then I was like, well, I'm going to start shopping. And a friend of mine who I run with, we call him Paps. We bought a Cadillac, old 77 from a guy who's a bookie. Real weird deal up in Camas. But yeah, we embraced very much the side of like, wildly impractical. We would stop at like antique stores in the middle of what was considered the race.
Yeah, I should add that there was only half the group was taking it seriously, the timed portion, and then there was another half of these fun havers who were just screwing around. They'd show up, they'd come the opposite direction on course, and we'd be like, "What are you doing?" They were lost, and they were partying and having fun the whole way, and it's ultimately where the event went.
Fun havers.
Yeah, yeah, and in the themes, I mean, we're big into themes. Every year, my buddy that was with Chubby's, he had worked for a company called Beta Brand. And Me Undies. So every year he would work for a new tech kind of connected company and be like, "Hey, I'm going to ship you a big box of underwear or a big box of short shorts, whatever he had." And we were like, "Sweet, like free clothes."
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean and then that kind of segued. I mean, the very first year I was like, "Hey, we should have like shirts. We should do something so that we can like kind of have that be our club kind of."
Yeah, you're like, "We need a logo." I was like, "That's stupid."
Yeah. And we were sitting around. He drew on a pie plate a skull and kind of got a wrench and
Coors Light box.
Coors Light box, and we adopted that. And so that kind of was the fire starter for swag. So that's my biggest kind of portion of Gamblers that I run all the shipping and purchasing and distribution of swag. I don't taste.
I would say you're a cultural part of everything. I mean, you've just a lot of the identity that's in Gamblers. You've helped distill. I mean, even just bringing hashers into the mix.
Yeah,
You know?
hashers. You know what hashers are?
I don't.
Hashers are. It started in Kuala Lumpur in 1938. But it's a.
Oh, I can't believe I haven't heard of this.
Well, you might have.
That seems mainstream.
It's a drinking club with a running problem. So we do a lot of running, but some drinking. And it's worldwide, and they call them kennels. So there's in Portland alone, I think there's like 5 or 6 kennels.
Well, it's because they couldn't fox hunt, so they'd send somebody out and they'd drop a trail of like flour, and then people would run after them, and then it evolved into this kind of a wackadoo, series of events here.
Yeah,
I don't do it. So
perfect group. It's like, yeah. I mean, well, and I say that, gosh, depending on what town you go to and who you meet, you might be like, "Wow, I'm wildly offended," or "That was really boring," or "That was a lot of running."
Yeah,
and not a lot of drinking.
Yeah, a lot of running sounds more offensive than probably anything I can come up with.
I'm a streak runner nowadays.
Yeah,
yeah.
Does that mean you're not wearing clothes when you do it?
Well, I'm not wearing clothes under my clothes, but I'm on I think day 331 right now in a row.
Of a mile a day.
Yeah, mile or more a day.
Yeah, we got into town at about 1:00 last night. We left my son's football game, which they won. We'll go LaSalle Falcons, 36-0.
36-0?
Yeah.
Yikes.
He's a stud. He's their starting safety and wide receiver. He plays every single set of downs. He's awesome.
I guess murder isn't illegal over there on that side.
It wasn't at 36-0 at the half. I think they put in some of their other second stringers on the second half and kind of chilled out a bit.
Scorched earth. I like
got
it.
in town, got some gas. He put on his running gear. Oh, this is funny too. He ran his mile, gets back, said, "Hey, the Mexican joint's open. Let's go grab a beer." So we go in there at 1:30, and then we ran into some Gambler guys who've done Gambler, and then one of them looks at Andy and says, "You the guy who's just running down the street?" And because of a dude in running shorts, in a bar was a little random. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, then we got out. We got like 3 hours of sleep and woke up, and then the rest is history. Here we are, covered in elk blood in your studio,
dude. Good for you, man. Because it takes something like that to break a streak. If you don't have just a little bit of discipline, right? But if it's just non-negotiable, it's like, no, this is what I do. I'm going to figure it out and go burn down a mile.
Yeah.
How hard could it be?
Having a kid at 43 will make you want to run a mile.
Is that it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
To the store for some cigarettes?
Yeah, exactly. Well, but sometimes I push her, and that's fun.
Yeah.
It's her, her perspective from the stroller must just be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. How long before you kick her out of the stroller and make her use her own wheels?
I know, she's almost walking, so.
Okay.
Yeah, close. And then, at what point is she pushing me? And
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, my buddy Danny Bolton, his daughter is the fastest cross country runner in Hawaii right now. She's 15 years old. wicked fast,
Wow.
wicked fast. And Danny is a great athlete. He guides for me, does all kinds of sports. And I said, what's the greatest distance you can beat her in a race right now? And he said 100 yards. He's still got her in the 100.
Wow.
But if it goes to 200, she's got him.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, what a feeling to be like physically eclipsed by your child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our wedding photographer was like, my children are now at the age that they could kill me. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, they're like a pack of boys. And he's like, I finally found that they're like strong enough that they could actually. Oh.
God, I'm in a bad spot because my dad's 70. I think he can still beat me up. And then my son is an animal. Like I'm stuck in the middle.
Your dad played football for Oregon, though, right? I mean,
Yeah. He's a specimen.
That's cool.
He's 72. He can still squat 225, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, he's wild.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So he's got some discipline. He's holding on to it.
I think he's just one of those natural bros. But he's obviously in the gym, so yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this transition of we're just going to get $500 rigs and like go do something fun and silly to we're going to become a force for bettering public lands. That's interesting. I don't think anybody would see that coming, but it is a natural progression. How much trash are you guys picking up these days?
I mean, it varies from year to year. So we have our big event, and that was the thing is that like we started all of a sudden now we're picking up 100,000, 250,000 pounds of trash over a weekend, and now all of a sudden we're the biggest public land cleanup in the. I like to say U.S. because I don't know what people are doing in the world, but we're certainly covering more ground than any other trash cleanups. So all these organized trash cleanups are in one big spot that's just been destroyed, kind of like China Hat. We have our friends who run PLS.org over there who they go to one spot, clean up 15 campers because it's just nasty and trash. We've got flying monkey 3,000 people driving all the way through public land, the wilderness, and picking up that random mattress and tire and stuff. And so and then we got up to about 450,000 pounds over one weekend was our biggest number. And then we decided to let people use the name and logo. Said, hey, like this used to be a cool punk rock grassroots thing. It's not anymore. It's this big festival party. We've got 10 bands and a bunch of food vendors, and we're selling swag, and we're doing this big thing. So if you want to go do what we used to do that inspired this, you can. And so, but you have to pick up trash. It has to be free, and you have to pick up trash. And so that then sprouted these 100 other events across the nation. Where you're in Florida, in New York, or there's like 5 in California, where you can go, participate in these things where it is just 20, 30, 40 cars, and they're all just got water heaters and mattresses strapped to their cars, and they come back. And then we saw that energy, and we said, hey, we want to also reach people with the app that we built and with these ethos. We want, because we are obviously hunters and hikers and just spend time on public land. We want to reach those people. So let's create a different entity, a 501c3 eventually, which, kind of regret. Nonprofits are just, they're a whole different beast. I'm not necessarily in love with the process, but we needed to. And that's how we eventually ended up working with Ford and some other these cool companies who kind of need that transparency if they're going to donate money. But so yeah, we just made Sons of Smokey, and that's now something that's accessible. I'm trying to reach the adventure bike riders and hunters and hikers and bird watchers, and just be kind of cross all party lines, be nonpartisan, and just be 100% about public lands.
Where my mind goes immediately is to the water. Like, how sick would it be to do a river or lake version of this and get a bunch of divers out there picking stuff up?
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
James Nash running the Navy.
Yeah, there you go. You just earned yourself a position. You're the admiral. The admiral.
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. All right.
But while we do a lot of organized cleanups,
Yeah.
our focus is to have people go out and recreate and do the things they do and pick up then, because it can be fun to go do organized cleanups, but it's way more fun to go hunt elk and ride motorcycles and do all this stuff, and you're out there and there's this crap. Let's just if you got an empty truck bed, grab it and take it to the dump.
Yeah.
And it sucks that some people have to go out of pocket to get rid of trash, but it's like do I do that or pay more in taxes, because there's no other way to do it. And if the government had to do this stuff, hire contractors, pay prevailing wage, do insurance, OSHA would have a field day with the way that we do things. This would be logarithmically more expensive.
Yeah.
And so to be able to do the way we do it with just people taking responsibility for themselves, but also just other people, because if you're going to make the world a better place, I've said this before, you're going to have to pick up other people's shit.
Mm-hmm.
And conversion. I think that's one of the biggest things that we do is
what does conversion mean?
Getting former litter bugs to pick up litter.
Oh, yeah.
And that is like, I mean, you want to start talking about exponential, it's like stop the people from littering and then get them to go after the people that litter.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, and acknowledge that not everyone's perfect. We weren't born angels, we did all sorts of stupid stuff when we were young. Yeah, right. But, and so accepting that people, may not have always been perfect. And now they're like, you know what? Like this is what conversion or, evolving as a human is.
Man, I am not going to sit here and say that in my life, I've never put a tin can in the woods and shot it with a 22 and not picked it up. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we're all guilty at some point or another, but yeah, that conversion piece, that's really interesting because what a force multiplier. I just talked to a gentleman who's working really hard on Atlantic salmon recovery, and man, I learned some terrifying and interesting things about this. Have you guys heard much about this?
No.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the Atlantic salmon farming is done in the North Atlantic. Most of it's done in Norway in the fjords, but some of it's moving into Newfoundland and places like that. The amount of trash that's coming off those salmon farms is absolutely incredible. The amount of waste that's coming out of those fish is destroying huge areas of the ocean floor. And then the parasites that are coming off these fish are infecting the wild fish. Like it's this giant growing problem where the wild Atlantic salmon have a crashing population. And it's very mainstream that salmon is one of the healthiest things that you can eat. It's good for your skin, good for your hair, good for your heart and brain and all this stuff. But as you get into it, you start to realize, wait, all of the salmon that most people are buying, all of the sushi salmon out there in the world, none of it's wild. Almost all of it's coming from these fish pens. And the amount of trash that's coming off the fish pens is absolutely staggering in terms of the nets and the floats. And if you break it down into, the equivalent of plastic straws or cigarette butts or something like that, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but it is incredibly alarming. He said that another thing that is going on with these Atlantic salmon is there's a lot fewer people who are going out and commercially harvesting seals in the North Atlantic, which has been a big business and a big job for hundreds and hundreds of years. And I said, well, what's the problem there? And he said, well, we can't find people who will go seal hunting. It's cold, it's hard work. The skinning is tough, and each of these seals is eating about 70 pounds of salmon per day. I was like, wow. Yikes. And the seals are overpopulation? He's like, yeah, way overpopulation. I said, well, I'll go hunt seals. And he's like, really? Like, yeah, totally. That sounds very interesting. That sounds like good hard work that's having an ecological benefit and it's a sustainable natural resource. Why not? He's like, well, I know some guys. If you're serious, I'll talk to them. So we'll see. But I think that there's these big problems. There's these big problems all over the world. And when you travel internationally, especially, you really start to notice that litter is one of the biggest ones, right? We produce a lot of petroleum byproducts that make their way out to the ocean that, we have a lot of stuff that doesn't last very long and it gets broken and people discard it a lot of times, not in the best way that they can. And I think that that's probably always going to happen. But as long as there's people who are willing to pick up more, then we can make a dent. I watched a video of a guy going out with a shop vac to a beach in Newfoundland and vacuuming up microplastics off the beach. And he got, 5 gallons. Like, that's a start. What if everybody did that?
Yeah.
Start to make a difference.
People have a great time. Like it fills your soul. Like to be like get out in nature, like get off your screen, get out there and I don't like hiking around for the sake of hiking. I like a mission. I like hunting. And when it's not always hunting season, but there's always trash out there.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a mission to go out there with a truck and a trailer, and we're doing boats and cars and RVs and some of these big deals. And then, the people without that stuff, can go get the tires. Tires are actually, we were talking about the salmon and the seals. Tires is something I think we could affect, and it's a huge issue. They're so expensive to get rid of, and it's something I think we could get the manufacturers involved with. I think there should be a deposit on every tire. So when you buy a tire, you're also paying for its disposal, so people don't have to drive out into the desert and dump them. Or even if they do, I don't have to pay $5 for the 300 tires that we picked up, in a day.
I think I paid a deposit with Les Schwab on my last set of tires.
Yeah, but I think they need to tie it to like the return, almost like a deposit.
Yeah.
So that, it'd incentivize folks to be like, oh, look, a pile of tires. I'm
right.
buying those.
Okay. This is news to me. If you're
see.
paying that money, like, as someone who gets rid of thousands and thousands of tires, we've never seen any benefit from that stuff. At minimum $5 a tire.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. So it's like a can you find in the ditch. You bring that in, it's worth 10 cents.
Yeah.
If you find that tire in the woods, it's worth $5. Yeah. No, I like that.
Pretty cool.
Wait, yeah. When you're saying that instead of paying $5, I get $5 when I bring it in.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Get rid of the tires.
Okay, tire deposit.
Yeah. People would be like hunting for tires. Like, oh, you got some tires?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Well, and it's
That'd be a bad deal in Portland.
all the tires
everything would be on rims. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I could see that going south over on the west side, boys.
people 3D printing tires. Yeah. And it's weird. Like, we've picked up so much trash in different states and even different countries, but like, you go to Hawaii and the dump is free in Waimanalo. So I'd go with my cousin. They have a farm there, and we go down the back roads and pick up like toilets and whatever we'd see and take them to the dump. And the dump's free, but then the dump would not let us return tires at that outpost.
Right.
And so like right out the gates, you'd see tires where people would just be like, oh, well, I'll just throw these here in the jungle.
Are there some good products that can be made from used tires?
Tracks,
Yeah,
right?
tracks.
Yeah.
Number one I've seen.
Like running tracks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But not habitat for fish. I think
Yeah.
they tried that in Florida or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They had to dig them all back out, or they're doing it right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's another interesting one, is a lot of the stuff that you see as trash or as like ecological waste in the ocean actually turns into tremendous habitat for a number of species. So like you find wrecks and things like that, and like it's an ecosystem, it's an environment down there. It's pretty cool.
And I think they can do that on purpose, right? Like clean a ship and
Yep, they do. And obviously, like, you don't want fossil fuels oozing out of that thing, and lithium batteries and whatever else is in a boat. But no, the tires thing is interesting. I think I've seen it used in arenas before, maybe like ground up and used in rodeo arenas. I think I've seen it used in playgrounds, maybe mulch around plants.
Yeah, and like cheap Target, backstops.
Yeah.
People fill them. And
Yeah, conveyor belts. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be that end of it too, right? It's not just getting it out of the woods at hopefully a profit to whoever's pulling it out of the woods, but at a minimum at no cost. Like, we don't want to penalize people for cleaning up. But then what do we do with it afterwards?
Yeah, that's what when we originally started the app. Hopefully, you can plug the app here in a little bit, but it was our goal to have law enforcement be able to upload the paperwork clearing cars, so that basically if they're stolen or dumped or whatever they are, so then people could come get them, then scrap them and get paid. But right now, steel prices are low. You don't really get paid anything for bringing cars in anymore, which is kind of a bummer too, because then you could make a living going out and picking these things up and dragging them off. But
yeah.
Well, let's talk about the app.
Yes. So it's the Sons of Smokey app. You can find it on sonsofsmokey.com. And it's for basically when we introduced this, we doubled our trash collection rate. And so we went from like 200,000 to 400,000. And basically, if you're out in the woods, if you're hunting or you're adventure biking or you're hiking or you're bird watching, and you see trash that you can't take with you, pile of tires, mattress, abandoned RV, you can pull up the Sons of Smokey app and mark it. It's super simple, one button. Take a picture of it, leave a description. You can also say what you would need to get it out of there, or if there's biohazard involved, because that's a lot of what we run into, unfortunately, is hypodermic needles and human waste. But you can mark all that stuff, and then the people who are going out and doing this just spend more time picking it up rather than looking for trash. And then you can also find it. So it's all it's user generated, and so like that all, you open the app up and you can go look and see what's out there. So like if you go outside of Bend, Oregon, you're going to see a lot of homeless camps and abandoned RVs and that sort of thing. And you can go down to the Ocala National Forest and you can see some abandoned boats and piles of tires and that sort of thing. And it's actually kind of entertaining and sad sometimes. And so our goal right now is to get mass adoption by people, but also for law enforcement. So BLM, Forest Service, DNR, county, staters, because that was one of the problems we were running into, is that a lot of these LEOs and responders and people who are managing this had their own system. They were using 15 different apps, all behind different firewalls. You couldn't share this information, so now we're finding a way to integrate all that stuff, just one simple database. And then now we're trying to find ways where we can then export that database into other apps that people are using. If they are using Onyx or Avenza or whatever, then they can use our layer to find trash and stuff.
Okay. So are you talking with Onyx right now?
Yeah, they're a sponsor of Gambler.
Okay.
Because we're an off-road navigation, event.
Yep.
They've been a sponsor for 4 or 5 years. But they're an app company and we have an app. And so they're not always as excited to talk about the app stuff. But eventually my goal is to get them to pull in. So yeah, if you know anybody,
Are you for sale?
No, because we're a 501c3.
So you can't sell the app?
We could sell the app, but then what are we at that point? We are the app so
okay.
So
the two things are intrinsically combined right now.
It is, because we're a 501c. But it doesn't need to be for sale. I'll give it away. I'll give the information away.
Yeah.
I just want to see trash picked up. So right. We have no paid positions in Sons of Smokey. It's one of all of our volunteers are donating their time, so we donate our time to do it. And so, by selling the app wouldn't be beneficial. Money's not even our pain point. We just want eyeballs and blood and sweat, out there in the field. That's all we want. We're not a fundraising company. You won't find us, doing giveaways or whatever it is, trying to do fundraising, because we don't need money.
So the pain point right now is that you need more people using the app and more people going out and picking up the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have great adoption. We have, 5,000-6,000 active users on there. And
Good.
I want more. I want 100,000. I want everybody on there.
Oh yeah. No, we can get bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What's a piece of trash you found in the woods that you were like kind of stoked about? Like, oh, this is a good one.
Oh man. I probably a weird, when we took the Corolla down to Eugene, we had a reporter in the back seat from
Register guard.
Yeah, register guard. And at 30-30 between the front seat.
It was Blacktail. It was Western General Season.
Checking the clear cuts.
But we were on an event. We were on the Border Patrol Gambler, and that goes all the way down to the most southern point, down like Brookings. And so we were down through the Coast Range out there. Yeah, we had 3 mattresses and a lawnmower strapped to the roof.
But I think the coup de grace was the goat skull.
Yeah,
some weird ram skull that we found down the hill.
It was like a mouflon or something.
A mouflon. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd fit in here in your office. I have it attached to a staff right now. It's my Skeletor staff I have.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because you guys are also the dudes who buy gas station swords on your way to go elk hunting.
Oh yeah.
Andy, I'm driving, so Andy says he's gonna give me gas money. And he comes out and he's like, all right, hear me out. Instead of gas money, how about this giant replica sword?
Just when I think you can't do anything dumber.
And we had a great time with that sword. We messed around and camped quite a bit with it. And we killed 2 elk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a powerful sword.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, trash.
Trash.
Yeah.
What's
No,
the
yeah,
weirdest?
the skull was good. Yeah, you find unspeakable things in some of these RVs.
Of
Don't
course.
ever
Yeah.
just leave a 5-gallon bucket alone. Just let the
Yeah.
earth take that back. There was a chest freezer full of dirty diapers,
Yikes.
which is a story. Like that's a story right there. A sad one, really. Like either someone dumped that or someone's out in the woods using, forcing to use a chest freezer as a diaper genie.
Yeah, that's not a good scenario.
No.
No matter what.
Dude, before I had a kid, I thought kids used 1 diaper a day. I was like shocked to find that they use like 9 or something.
That's a lot.
Dude, they generate so many diapers.
I've never changed a diaper.
Oh,
Staying strong with that.
I'm a pro now.
I've also never created an Excel spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It cost me an entire letter grade in a course in college one time because I bowed up against it. I was like, no, nobody enjoys PowerPoints.
No,
That's true.
it's true.
But no, staying strong on, I think those 3 fronts, like those are my last bastions. Yeah.
Diapers.
Yeah.
So gross, dude.
No,
It's so-
I'm not a big
disgusting.
fan. Maybe when I have grandkids or something, I'll do it again. But I don't change other people's kids' diapers.
I've gotten so good. I'm like a NASCAR. Doot. Fast.
Yeah. I hear it's different when it's your kid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that. It's always somebody else's, and I want nothing to do with it. But now, thankfully, my my nephews are beyond that stage, so we can hang out.
Nice.
Little dude is over here helping me pick taters yesterday. So much fun.
Wait, do you have any
yeah.
onions out in your garden?
Yeah, of course.
Can we have one?
Yeah,
Sweet.
I have beautiful Walla Walla sweet onions that are on probably day 120 right now. They're a little bit sharp on the eyes when you cut them up, but they are so sweet as soon as you start to cook them. Wonderful, wonderful onions.
We'll trade you for some coffee.
Sounds good. I'm fired up about the coffee. I got this. I haven't made the video about it yet, but it will have come out before this podcast does, so I can talk about it. But I got this thing called the Vessel. Have you guys seen this? It's it looks kind of like the Stanley thermos, but it's got a Burr coffee grinder, a pour over, and 2 cups all within one thing. And it's like super, super high quality for making nice little pour overs on your tailgate. And I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sweet.
He's got a system. I remember camping, and he puts his jet boil right outside of his. Well, actually, you didn't have your cot, did you?
No, I
You were
forgot
sleeping
it.
on the ground last night.
I know. I was like, are snakes like? Do they go to warm bodies? I don't know how that works.
You were just sleeping on the gravel out there on the side of the road. I at least was a cot, but yeah, he makes his coffee while he's still in a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
You guys stop by when you need stuff. Like you saw the shop. Like this
We need
isn't-
an onion.
This isn't. I got you. I got you on the onion.
We're usually hunting down in the Wahi, and there's onions all over the ditches down there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Any outside turn, you can get all the onions
dude,
you want.
We stocked up when we were out mule hunting 2 years ago.
Every once in a while, some other you get pepper or something. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, the dinner's going to be extra tasty tonight.
There's a couple spots in Montana that are notoriously windy, and semi trucks eat it on the regular, and the folks that live in those areas just wait for it, and like they'll see the wind forecast and just be waiting for a semi truck to eat it so that they can go out there and get whatever booty is spilled all over the side of the road. I love it.
That is awesome.
So I want to go back briefly to this tire deposit thing, because I feel like this is a distilled action item that we could make happen. When I was on the commission to restructure and develop new funding sources for the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, we're looking at all kinds of ways that ODFW could get money from people who had a nexus to wildlife but weren't currently contributing, right? And we looked everywhere for money, but everybody's always looking everywhere for money. There's not a rock that hasn't been turned. One of the ones that we came across that was actually fairly promising was the unclaimed bottle deposit. So when you buy whatever container it is, you're paying your 10-cent deposit right there. Well, a lot of people don't turn that in. The money that isn't turned in goes back to the beverage industry and is supposed to go towards recycling centers. It is a gargantuan amount of money. It's a lot of money, and it would have made a big difference for ODFW, but we couldn't get our hands on it. I think that if you could do something like this with tires, I don't know what the number is. If it's $5, it's $5, right? I don't know what it is to turn a tire in and get it properly disposed of. But if people were paying that deposit, and that deposit was going to a fund, and then the leftovers of that fund for the people who weren't claiming their deposit at the end of that tire's life cycle, if that money could be used for cleanup, that would be pretty cool. There's already a system in place for this in Oregon that is fully accepted. Like, why not do that with tires?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't your dad a politician? Can he make this happen?
Yeah, my dad's a state senator. So you fellows are in a different district than I am. So you could talk to your state senator and see if they would carry this as a bill. And I would talk to my state senator and ask if he would support this bill.
Yeah.
But I'm not the guy that's like, oh, my dad's a politician, so I'm going to like backdoor this to get things done. Like, my dad doesn't listen to me on very much, right? He's still using a 25-06 for elk.
Oh boy.
He's going to do his own thing. But he would listen to me like he would listen to anybody else from his district.
Well, what they'd want to do is they'd want to put together a committee, and then they'd want to talk this thing to death, and they'd hire someone to try to manage a program, and then they'd create some sort of organization that's super top heavy and like not get anything done, to be honest with you. I've seen this happen over and over again with nonprofits. It's almost like you just make the dump free. Just have those funds go directly to the disposal, so it's free. As long as people just get them there, that's going to be the most effective thing. Like that, like paying or creating organizations and bureaucracy to take care of the problem. And when the simplest solution is just take away the
right. But I want a bounty on these tires.
Yeah, I like the bounty because I think free in Hawaii, it was just shocking to me that there was still garbage everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, the dump's right there. And they're like, oh, well, they aren't taking tires or washing machines at that dump. And I'm like, well, the other dump's 25 minutes away. And people would still be like, no, drive over there. That was absolutely bizarre to me.
Yeah, bounties work. You get what you incentivize.
Like, hence why we're going to go club baby seals.
I don't think it's a baby seal type situation. I also don't think it's a club situation.
Are we talking like 50s off the bow, or how are you shooting the?
I don't know. I did look briefly into the legality of it and whether Canada even could hire me, like a Canadian company even could hire me. And basically, they need to submit a waiver to the Canadian government that says we are having a hard time hiring people. It's important that we hire somebody who isn't a resident of Canada so that we can fill this position. Like there's definitely hoops to get through. And look, this isn't going to be a career thing, but if it's a 30-day season or something like that, dude, that would be such an interesting job to go do for a while. And it would be incredibly hard. But if there's too many seals and there's not enough salmon and there's not enough people to go seal hunting, like, sign me up.
Yeah.
That's something that I can do to help. That would be a cool adventure. Like that's what I'm all about.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
What do people do with the seals? Do you eat them?
I don't know if the meat has value. I know the fat does. And then the fur is extremely valuable, right? So they have, a huge number of hairs per square inch because they need to be able to survive in that super cold water. So they're really beautiful furs that have, good R value in terms of insulation. And like we were talking about with Kate Havstad, if you look at your closet right now, about 70% of it is petroleum based. So if it didn't come from a plant or animal fiber, it came from a petroleum byproduct. With with leather and fur, as long as it's harvested correctly, that's a renewable resource. And when it wears out, which will probably be generations from now, it just goes back into the earth. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a better deal. Yeah.
I think you're right.
But I like leather. I've always liked leather. I like fur. These are great materials that had so much to do with our survival as a species. And if you think that animals aren't dying so that you can have your, Patagonia puffy jacket that has a polyester lining, then you're just not thinking about it all the way through. I had a guy stop me on a duck hunt one time that was on public land. I was past shooting these birds, and he was hiking, and he was really upset that I was shooting ducks. And it's illegal to interfere with somebody's hunt in Oregon, but I'm willing to talk to whoever about it, And he was wearing a down jacket, and I said, "Where do you think the feathers came from?" And he goes, "Well, they don't kill the ducks." I was like, one, yeah, they do. Two, like that would be so much worse. That would be so much worse.
Oh my God. They just skinned them alive. Yeah. Wow. Tate, your brother-in-law had an incident where some people were questioning his duck hunting out in Bend.
Oh, you talking about it at Meadow Camp?
Uh-huh.
This is a long, dumb story, but
It's so funny.
I love that you pass shoot ducks. I have a bunch of people who are purists, about decoys and calling them in and stuff, and I always love pass shooting and jump shooting. I'm like, that's what I do. And I had a bad day out at Crane Prairie and Wiki Up, and I come back down, and I'm on the other side of the Deschutes, and I stop in at Meadow Camp, which is right behind Widgie Creek golf course, and there's always ducks and geese in there. And this was early in the season, so it's still pretty nice. People are hiking and biking everywhere, and there are the ducks out there, and there's a house right across the way. And so I called the stater, and I said, "Hey, is it legal to duck hunt at Meadow Camp?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "What about the house?" And he's like, "Don't shoot the house." And so I get out there with my dog, my black lab, and jump out, and I think these ducks are going to bust, and I'm just ready to pop them all, and they don't. They look at me, and then they slowly start swimming at me like I have bread.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
So I'm not giving up. Maybe I'll shoot these ducks. So I take a stick, and I throw the stick in, and my dog jumps in, swims by all the ducks, gets the stick. Ducks don't fly. So I'm like, all right, never mind. I'm not going to sluice these suckers. So I bring another buddy another time, and same thing happens, and he can't pull a trigger on him. I'm like, I told you wouldn't be able to do it. And then my brother-in-law, we bring him out, and we're like, you're not going to be able to do it. And all of a sudden, he just unleashes on these sluicing geese and ducks, and they're floating down the river. And I'm like, oh crap! And I ran and get the dogs, and then this lady comes out from the house you're not supposed to shoot, and she starts screaming at him, and he's like, "Nah, it's cool. We called the state police." He's like, "This is a park." There were people stopped, like who were out there hiking and biking. It was a shit. It was a total melee. It was wild. Matt, sorry for sharing that story.
Oh, what a savage.
Oh, yeah. So we called it the personality test, and he failed.
He failed.
Oh, it was great. But yeah, so yeah, if you're in Bend, you can hunt Meadow Camp, just FYI.
All right. Dude, tell me about this kind of disaster that's happening outside Bend. I see it on your guys' channel. I don't see it on the news. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm really, really hard on the city of Bend, and it's for a couple different reasons. And people criticize me for my criticism of Bend, and it's like, well, it's the county's problem. Oh, this is the Forest Service problem. And I was like, no, Bend is the monetary center of the economic center of Central Oregon. It just is. It's Redmond has always housed its workforce, and now Redmond's its own thing. Becoming its own thing, and so everything's there for Bend. People are there. These homeless people who are either displaced because of the economy, the housing crisis. They did nothing to create affordable housing in that area. They just kind of chased development dollar after dollar. And I was on the Central Oregon Builders Association board for years. I live there. I love Bend. It's one of my favorite places. And so they created a housing crisis. A lot of my friends lost their jobs. I lost my job, but luckily I had a father-in-law to move in, with, and I knew a lot of people who were displaced and were homeless at that time. And then a lot of people are coming from other states and landing in Bend because it's, pretty temperate climate most of the time, except for in the winter. And the city of Bend rounded them all up and pushed them out. Said, hey, you can't stay here, but you can go out to China Hat Road. You can go out to Juniper Ridge. There are these places that most places have, a city center, and then you've got county surrounded by ranches and farmers and stuff. And that would normally not allow for this sort of thing to happen. But in Bend, there's a city limit, and then there's BLM or Forest Service. And so there's no guard there. There's no one telling them they can't go out there. In fact, there's people telling them that's where they should go. And so, as you know, public land belongs to all of us. And so for Bend to spill its problem out onto public land and make it our problem while simultaneously having it's making billions of dollars on public land, the outdoors, on its mountains and rivers, and the skiing and mountain bike industry and on the running. That's why that town exists. It's why it's so rich. It's why people want to go there. And for them to not take onus and pretend it's not happening is, I think it's a tragedy. So why I make that a big deal on all of our platforms is I want to make it a platform for someone to go in and fit. I want the next mayor of Bend to try to engage with this problem. So I want someone to go in there and say, hey, I'm going to help fix this. Be one of the things they're going to run on, and then we'd get behind them and push for it. So that's why I'm so mean to them.
Right, but tell me more about what it actually looks like when you go out into that zone.
It looks like the apocalypse.
Yeah, the next level.
It's worse than you can imagine.
Way worse.
It's just miles and miles in east of burnt up trailers and human waste and burnt cars, and that's where the chest freezer full of dirty diapers was. Just buckets with human feces in it, and it's not just one area. It's goes on forever. It's destroyed. So we are working. We just actually became the financial sponsor. So PLS Bend, who's responsible for nearly, I think, £1 million at this point of cleanup. We've done near 2 to 3 million in that area, localized in Central Oregon, so Lapine all the way up to Madras. And so they've just come under our umbrella, and we're another financial sponsor. But they're doing incredible work. They clean up all that stuff without the benefit of a party and like all this fun and promise of adventure. These guys are just going out there to clean up crap, and they've got trucks and trailers and doing a fantastic job. So anybody in Central Oregon who wants to get involved with that stuff, PLS.org is the place to do it. So, but it's terrible. I mean, anybody who used to recreate out China Hat Road, it's a travesty. It's a few miles of and it's not even. You'll see some trailers, you'll see some of it, but behind that one's another trailer, another 100 yards behind that one. It's just like you get on Google Maps or you get on the Sons of Smokey app and you can see some of it, but it's frightening.
And there's people in there, right?
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Yeah.
I mean, my friend's a sergeant out there, and we were going down China Hat Road, and I was like, hey, we're going back to the roots of Gambler to camp tonight. And he's like, what, down China Hat? And I was like, yeah, but there's a lot of these like RVs and looks like cars that might be stolen or something. And he's like, yeah, you guys need to be super careful. He's like, the people out there got nothing to lose.
Yeah. But I don't want to paint the picture that's all houseless. And again, we are empathetic to people who have found themselves, homeless and houseless. I don't know, I'll use whatever word. And there are some, and it is drug addiction. Some people might not have been drugs when they got out there. A lot of them are on drugs now. The fentanyl crisis and the decriminalization of, Andy's got a lot of thoughts on that too. But then there are piles of tires and washing machines and mattresses and things that they did not create. So when's the broken glass theory of, there's broken glass and then it just trash begets trash, and so people now just say, oh, the public land is it's a trash dump. So why pay $50 to go to the dump when I can just take it down China Hat and dump it out here. So we see it. It's a mix of everything. And
yeah. I mean, we did a Delta Park cleanup in Portland, and it was interesting to see. We went in and talked to everybody in the camp, and we just said, hey, we got 2 40-yard containers and an excavator. We're not here to take your personal items. We're here to help you. And so they just started pointing at stuff and saying, yeah, please take that and that. And there was a lot of stuff that, they'd point at a couch and say, hey, yeah, somebody just brought this in here saying, under the guise of helping us, but they were really just dumping their old couch on us.
Right.
But I'll never forget. I mean, there was a woman barefoot in a pile of feces and hypodermic needles, and we're taking the excavator and grabbing a rug and all the stuff out of the pile. And when he grabbed it, like probably a couple dozen rats went running every direction. And this woman out of her mind is just screaming in the pile of trash, like kind of hoarder mentality.
Jeez.
It's like, how did we get to that point? Like how did we not stop at some point and say, hey, this is humanity and we got to take care of one another and not let things slip that far. So I think that's where we've really gotten involved in, like, spotting the stuff, the broken window policy, pick up that trash on your way to the mailbox. On the hike back to the car today, I picked up 3 cans on the road.
Nice. Jackpot.
Yeah. And it's karma for future hunt. On trash day, my new thing is, like, I go for a run up and down our road and I just top off everybody's cans with any trash that I see. A little bonus.
How can people get involved? If they're in the Bend area, you're saying talk to pls.org. What if somebody says, you know what, this Sons of Smokey thing sounds pretty cool. I would like to, do it in my area, or they want to come to Oregon. Like, how does this work? How does somebody become a son?
We're working on that portion of it. Like my model has always been just act independently. I like do what's right for you all the time. I don't like organized cleanups. The people who are involved with us aren't doing this for accolades or attaboys. They're doing it just to clean up trash. People always have ideas for hold raffles or give away prizes, and it's just like the people who are the heaviest lifters, they're just out there to sweat and like feel good about what they're doing. So download the app is number one, is what I'd say, and then subscribe to our email list. And then, I mean, you can always come up to the Gambler 500, but we're working on ways to because we do need to engage with people in a way that you just said, that kind of get them involved, become a son. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when is the Gambler 500?
June 26th to the 28th of 2026. So yeah, every end of June, every year. Just we're going back to Madras, Oregon this year. That's a community that was had a big enough problem where we could make a big dent in it, and then small enough where they really appreciated it. So it was a great community to go be a part of.
I'm going to be there.
Awesome. Sick.
Yep. I'm going to be there. Something that I want to clarify as well. I saw a post that you guys made years ago, and you said saying that a car isn't gambler. Mm. So does somebody need a $500 car to come to the Gambler 500?
I'll let you take this, Andy.
Yeah, no, I'd say, bring something wild, fun, and practical. If you feel like you want to support people, bring your F-150. We're just like, get out, have a ton of fun with a ton of great people, and you'll leave that weekend with these bonds that are just...
Everybody's super chill. Like, there's nobody with ego there. If you need something, you stop into any camp you want, you got it. If it's a beer or an onion or some gasoline or something, like, this when you shed away, like, there's just no ego. The goal is to bring the crappiest car. You don't get the same thing that you get at like car shows or like the dunes, where like, the puffy chest thing. Like, everyone's just I don't know, human being.
Yeah, self-deprecating.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay. Thank you guys very much. Let's go find you an onion.
Awesome.
To go with your elk.
That's for our sandwiches.
Yeah. Oh, it's for your Sandos?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh. All right. We'll get right on this.
Okay.
Thank you, James.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you guys a lot. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you to everyone who has taken the time out of their busy lives to write a review for the show and share it with their friends. I'm extremely proud of how intelligent, engaged, and adventurous this audience is. Original music for the Six Ranch podcast is written and performed by Justin Hay. Art for the Six Ranch podcast was created by John Chatelain and digitized by Celia Harlander. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week.